Well, here it is at the beginning of July. Not too early to start thinking about fall plants. Actually, July, August, September, 90 days, plenty of time to grow fall plants. So I have three rows I'm going to be preparing today. I have the 2 rows that I'm in right now, which used to have garlic. And then I have a row of where my onions used to be, which I plan on replanting all 3 of these rows today, or at least starting the soil preparation for them. Unfortunately, the summer has been hard. In Georgia especially, we go through organic matter. You can see while I had organic matter in this to start with, all I'm left with is basically clay at this point. So before I do anything for this fall, I need to rejuvenate the soil. I mentioned 3 rows. First row I'm going to plant is going to be some yellow beans, yellow wax beans, to complement my green beans. Next row is what I'm going to plant is actually going to be fall potatoes. And then the 3rd row is where I'm going to put my fall tomatoes. Now actually all 3 of these are going to be prepped slightly different, given the condition and the planning when I'm going to do different things. So you'll kind of see what I'm going to do throughout the day. We'll start off doing some light tilling though. I'm not going to till too deep, even though this is very hard stuff. I do have nice layers under here, so what I'm going to do is just do a light tilling, and then I'm going to start working with the soil. Light tilling so I don't bring up a lot of new weed seeds. I mentioned I was going to plant 3 things. I was going to do potatoes, I was going to prepare the soil for potatoes, beans, and tomatoes. All 3 of them I'm going to prepare differently. The first is by far the easiest, and that is going to be my potatoes. Potatoes will be planted for a fall crop. I have not received them. I have mail ordered them from Park Seed. They will ship them to me this fall. Meanwhile, I'm going to go and prepare the soil for them so I don't have bare soil. Well, I could plant ryegrass. It'd be a little struggle to grow here in the south in our heat. However, what I'm going to do is plant another green manure. Okay, that was easy enough. I will do nothing to it. I'll just wait for the rain, bring it out, and then we'll be ready. So let me show you what buckwheat was going to look like, and then we'll move on to our beans. Well, here I am in a load of manure. Green manure, that is. A green manure is simply any organic matter or any crop that you're growing, simply for the benefit of turning it back into the soil to provide organic matter. Buckwheat is one of my favorite, which we just planted for the potatoes. This is buckwheat. This is what it looks like. Grows very densely, shades out any weeds trying to compete and grow with it. Very easy to till back in. Very quick to sprout, like I say. And the nice thing about it, it's extremely cheap seed. I bought a pound of seed for $1 at the local feed and seed store. So very, very good choice for a green manure. It's time to plant the beans. I usually do not do a single thing for beans. This year I did nothing for my green beans. Simply tilled up the soil, planted them, let them go. And you can see they did fine. No big problems there. This time though, I'm going to do something a little different. The reason I typically give beans the bare necessities is because they are legumes. Legumes are any plant that has the ability to take nitrogen from the air and soil and store it for itself. So it will pull nitrogen from the air and store it on little nodules on its roots. Therefore, it's producing its own fertilizer, basically. It's a very good crop to plant before, like having my tomatoes follow beans would probably be a good idea. My beans won't be played out by the time I'm ready to plant them. So for this year, since I'm going to be planting on this side of the garden, This side of the garden is a little more shaded. Beans are a very heat-loving and sun-loving plant. So I know this is going to cause them a little problem, so I am going to give them a little extra help. What am I going to do? I'm actually going to give them some compost. I have some compost, some of my last compost left. I'm going to go in and put that in a wheelbarrow and move it over. And let's let our beans enjoy that. We're going to be making some more compost soon anyway. The beans are in, and we're garden beans, Cherokee wax, a yellow bean, like I say. So this should be a nice complement to our green beans. Well, this is where I'm going to plant my fall crop of tomatoes. Previously, I had onions growing here. Onions are a heavy feeder, meaning they require a lot of fertilizer and nutrients to grow. Tomatoes are a heavy feeder, requiring a lot of fertilizer and nutrients to grow. Gardening organically, I don't use a commercial fertilizer, so my normal source would be either an organic fertilizer, which I have some, or compost, which I am fresh out. Use the last of it on my beans. I will be making some more, but as soon as I can have compost, it's 14 days, even doing a fast method. So I want to prepare this today, since today I'm off today. So what am I going to do? I do happen to have one good organic matter to put here, something you're never supposed to do. It is horse manure. I got a truckload of horse manure probably a couple months ago. I have it out back aging. Normally you should let it rot probably a year. I don't have a year, so I'm going to plant it here, and I can tell you, I'm going to confess, I know I will have a weed problem. Anytime a cow manure or horse manure is usually chock full of weeds, but I have a strategy for beating that. I'm planning putting the manure down way before I'm going to be ready for my tomatoes. So I will put the manure down and I will water it as if I planted something. What will happen is all the seeds in the first quarter-inch of soil will germinate. I will come and cultivate shallowly, and I will water again. The next batch will continue to sprout, and I will continue doing this several weeks. And by that time, I will have gotten rid of probably 90% of the weeds. By the time it's ready for my tomatoes, I should be in good shape. Let's hope. Done with our tomato row. I did a little different than I did with the compost. I actually tilled this in, and I actually tilled it in just a little deeper. I went a little deeper than I did with the other two rows, mainly because I put about 1 inch of compost on it. So if I wanted to have this manure interact with the soil, I needed to churn it in. So I lowered it, the blades a little, dug it in good. This will be covered up with weeds in a week or two. Actually, it won't be, because I will come out here and do shallow cultivation. Nonetheless, though, I can guarantee you weeds will start germinating. But that's fine. Let them go and get it out of their system, because in about a month, I'll be putting my tomatoes in.